So today we're checking out FunWhole's latest set from their Middle Ages theme. It's called the Training Ground. It's an awesome set. It's got some great lighting techniques as well as a squad of soldiers to help defend the town. So let's dive in and check it out. So before we dive into the details of this set, I just want to thank FunWhole for sending me it for review. And as always, all thoughts and opinions are my own. So this is the Training Ground set from FunWhole's Middle Age theme. As you can see, it's a pretty short and sweet set. It's got just over 950 pieces, but it's still packed with details. We're going to start with the lighting, then the minifigures, and then explore the build itself. So let's go. Whether or not you're familiar with FunWhole sets, they always provide a lighting kit, which personally I think is brilliant because it means they really have to think about where they're placing the lights within the builds. Within this Training Ground set, we can see warm yellow glows from the torches around the camp, which really makes it feel like you're back in time, right in the middle of a medieval training camp at dusk. The set looks brilliant both during the day and night, and FunWhole yet again use their concealed wire bricks, which I think is just genius. It means that there are no ugly wires dangling around to ruin the immersion, and everything just fits perfectly into place. Now that we've touched a little bit on the lighting, we're going to just explore the 5 awesome minifigures within this set. Now let's meet the squad. We've got 5 soldier minifigures and multiple different classes. There's a commander who's clearly the big boss, a knight for those heavy hitting battles, 2 archers to keep your enemies at bay, and a swordsman who's ready for some close combat. These figures are great in my opinion, and they really add that extra layer of storytelling and action. I mean, when it comes to building medieval armies, I think this is a perfect set because you've got 5 solid minifigures here. And I mean, it's perfect to defend your town, right? So now that we've covered the lighting and the minifigures, let's just check out the full build. All right, so you might think the build itself is quite small. It does have just over 950 pieces. However, there is still a lot to unpack. I've divided this part of the review into 5 mini areas. So we're going to cover the archery range, the jousting target, the swordsman training on the roof, the commander's watchtower, and of course the living quarters. Starting with the archery range, we've got 2 printed tiles. I think these have done very well. It's perfect for our archers to practice their aim. And I even like the fact that one of the targets has a hole in the middle, which means you can actually place the arrow into it as if he's just hit the bullseye. I love the small details. Talking of the small details, they've also got a storage unit for the bows and arrows. And as you can see, there's lots of foliage scattered around, and this goes right throughout the build. I also just wanted to point out these really cute fences that they've put together, and they've actually made them from droid arms, which I think is really cool. And lastly, I just wanted to mention the torch by the door because it's the perfect touch for lighting up the range at night. Next, we're going to move on to the jousting target, and personally, I think this is such a fun, functional little build. It's super simple, but when you hit that shield, the target will swing around because of the counterweight on the other side. I think it's such a clever design. It's very accurate to these medieval times, and it also adds a ton of playability to this set. I also just wanted to mention that I'm a big fan of these separate little builds from the bigger sets. FunWhole's used this technique quite a few times, as well as other premium brands, and I always like it because it adds on a little bit of extra detail that you don't always necessarily need, but it just makes it a little bit better for me. Moving on, I now want to show off the swordsman's training roof, and this area is where your swordsman gets to practice. You've got a really cool rotating target for attacking practice, which I think is a super fun build, and it's lit up by a single torch. Personally though, I will say this, I think the area does feel a little bit bare. I would have loved to maybe have seen a barrel or something here to store some extra swords or gear. I do think it's missing out a little bit. Now we're going to head up to the top and we're going to explore the commander's watchtower. There's a slanted roof and wooden paneling that really sells the medieval vibe, and I love how the wooden beams peek out from the side of the actual tower itself. I think they're very cute. Again, and similar to the swordsman area, I feel like the watchtower could have used a few more accessories just to give it that extra pop. Now lastly, we're going to cover the living quarters. This is one of my favourite parts because of how functional it is. The back walls of the build pull out to give you access to the inside. We've seen this technique before in previous FunWhole sets. I think they should keep doing it because it adds another layer of playability. When we look inside, we can see some awesome printed tiles, and I just want to point out there's one tile showing a castle scene, and I'm kind of hoping it's teasing a future FunWhole release, maybe a full-on castle build, but I'm just going to keep my fingers crossed for now. Now inside, you'll find a little space with a single bed, which makes me just think it must get a little bit cozy at night when they all go to sleep. There is a table and a chair, as well as a desk, and of course the ladder that leads up to the watchtower. They've also included some lovely warm lighting here, which just adds such a nice vibe to the room. So having covered the lighting, the minifigures and the build itself, we're now just going to talk about the price for this set. So at just under £70, I think this set is reasonably priced. You're getting a good amount of pieces, as well as the lighting kit, and not to mention the 5 awesome minifigures. Personally, I think if you're building a middle-aged collection, this set will fit right in. I'd even go as far as to say that if the price was slightly lower, this could be a perfect battle pack. Maybe that's something that FunWhole could release in the future, we'll just have to wait and see. So before I cover my final thoughts of this set, I just wanted to mention the one issue that I've had, and that is the battery pack that's provided with this build. It's slightly different to the other battery packs that FunWhole have provided. This one takes a different type of battery, which is harder for me to track down. However, the set does use USBs, which means I can just connect the USB to a previous battery pack, or you can just plug it straight into a USB plug if you've got one of those. So it doesn't actually affect you too much, but obviously if you want to make use of the battery pack, it takes different batteries, so it could be a little bit annoying. So overall, I think the training ground is a sweet little build. You do get some great minifigures, and the lighting is awesome as always. I think it's a fun addition to the Middle Ages theme that FunWhole are building, and personally I'm very excited to see what comes next for this theme. Fingers crossed we're going to get a castle at some point. Once again, a huge thank you to FunWhole for sending me this set for review, and if you did enjoy the video, be sure to hit that like button. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Will you be getting this set? Is it something that's on your list now? And if you're new around here, be sure to hit subscribe so you don't miss out. And as always, I'll see you in the next one.